get started. Click a new composition. Rename it to particles 1. Size of this composition is 1280 by 720 pixels. Frame per second is 30 and duration is 15 seconds or 450 frames. Click OK. Right click on the timeline. Click New and click to Solid. Rename it to Particles 1. Click OK. Go to Effects panel and add a Trapcode particular effect to this layer. Before playing with the particles, we have to create a null object for its position. Right click on the timeline, click on null object, rename it to position. Make this layer 3D. Go to its properties and to transform. Press Alt button and click stopwatch next to position. Right, wiggle 0.7 and 450. Check the position again, see how it works. Now go to emitter and change particle per seconds to 20,000. Look at that. And change the emitter type to sphere. Press Alt button and click stopwatch next to position. Use the pick tool and reconnect it to the position of the null object. Add a variable before the script. I'm using temp equals to, then the script. Put the semicolon after position and write temp 0, temp 1 and temp 2. It is for the position X, Y and Z. You can get the script from the description down below. Just copy and paste it here. Now check the position. It's using the null layer and look at the particles, how they are moving from left to right, from I would say up to down. Perfect. Change the Y rotation to 0 and 50. Change velocity to 50. And change the velocity random percentage to 40. And in the end, change emitter X, Y and Z to 50 to reduce its size and reduce particles. Yeah, looks perfect. Close it. Go to particles. Change life per second to 1 and life random percentage to 25. Change sphere weather to 100, change size to 3 and size random percentage to 10. Go to size over life, change it to half using the preset. Yeah, that's one. Now look at the particles. Oh, great. Now you can close it. Go to shading. Turn on Shadow for main. And go to Shadow settings. Just change opacity to 20. Look at the effect. Great. Looks perfect. Close it. Go to physics and change gravity to 15. Go to air and I would say change bend Y to 20. Yep. Let's check. Perfect. Now go to turbulence field. Change effect position to 560. Change scale to 6. And now we can change the offset. Let's change Y offset. Press Alt button and click stopwatch next to Y offset. Write time multiplied by 60. Or change it to 120. Let's check how it works. Nah, I think 60 is better. Perfect. I think we are done with this layer. Now we have to create more effects to this animation. But it's too dark. Let's create a light. Right click, click new and add a light. Rename it to light. Click OK. And move it down below position. Yep. Click P to the light and change its Y position. Move it a little down. Yep, that's it. That's great. Let's check. A little line. Let's add more effect to this layer. Yeah. Right click, click new, add an adjustment layer. Move it down below position. Rename it to median. Go to effects panel and add a median effect to this layer. This is because we have to create some blur effect to this layer. Change the radius to 15. Let's check how it looks. Now again add a new adjustment layer. Right click, new, adjustment layer again. Move it down below position. Rename it to matte. Now go back to effects panel and add matte choker effect to this layer. Where it is. Change the geometric softness 1 to 1, choke 1 to 20, gray level softness 1 to 35%. See, it hides some effect from the particles. Again add a new adjustment layer. Right click, new, adjustment layer. Move it down to position. Rename it to glass. Now again go back to effects panel, add a CC glass effect to this layer. Go to surface. Change softness to 10 and height to 100 and displacement to 2. Go to light, change the light type to point change the light height to 100 and change the light position to 190 and 60. Go to shading, change ambient to 0, diffuse to 100, specular to 100, roughness should be same, metal should be 0. If you change the metal to 100, look at the effect on the particles. If you change metal to 100, look at the effect. Look at the whiteness. It goes now to 0 and the whiteness comes. Let's add more effect. Click new, add an adjustment layer. Move it down to position. Rename it to curves. And go to effects panel and add a curves effect to this layer. That's my favorite. Change the RGB channel of it. It is up to your need, but move it a little from up and move it little down. That's it. Look at the particles now. Let's play it one time. Let's check. Come on. Let's add more light layer. These lights would be linked to the particle layer. Click new and add light. Change its name to emitter. It should be a point light. Click OK. Move it down below to position and add a new null object. And rename it to position 1. Now link emitter layer to position 1 layer and link position 1 layer to position null layer. Make position 1 layer as 3D. Go to its properties and to transform. Change its position to 0 each. Press Alt button and click stopwatch next to X rotation and write time multiplied by 120. Now go to emitter layer, go to transform and change its position to 0, 0 and -50. Perfect. Let's check. Select emitter layer and press Ctrl D. Go to its properties to transform and change its position to 0, 0 and 50. Select these 3 layers, emitter 1, emitter 2 and position 1 and duplicate it. Move these layers above position 1. Rename emitter 3 to 2 emitter. And rename emitter 4 to 2 emitter 2. Now go to position 2 layer, go to transform and change X rotation to time multiply by 240. Now go to 2 emitter 2, change its position to 0, 0, 120. Now go to 2 emitter and to transform and change its value to 0, 0 and minus 120. Now we have to add a camera layer to this animation. Add a camera layer, rename it to camera, uncheck lock to zoom, click OK, move it below to the position layer, go to camera properties to transform, change its position to 640 by 360 and minus 500. Let's check the animation. Perfect. Go to camera options, change zoom to 550, change focus distance to 712 and aperture to 120 pixels. Let's play the animation once. Let's check how it looks. It looks perfect. Now go to project window and duplicate particles 1 composition by pressing Ctrl D. Open this composition. Go to particles 1 layer and go to the effects control. First go to emitter. Change particles per second to 7000. Now change the direction to directional. Change velocity to 260. Close it. Now go to particle section. Change life per second to 5 and change size to, I would say, 3. Close it. Now go to physics and go to air. Change wind X to 100 and change wind Y to 0. Now go to turbulence field and remove the script from Y offset. Let's zoom in. Let's check. Now duplicate this layer by pressing Ctrl D and rename it to particles 2. Go to emitter and change particles per second to 6000. Also change emitter type from sphere to light. If you want, you can also remove the script from the position as well, but it is not necessary. Now change the velocity to 8. Close emitter and now go to particles. Change size random to 15%. Close particles. Now go to physics and go to air. Change wind x to 0 and wind y to 20. Now go to turbulence field and press Alt button and click stopwatch next to y offset. Write time multiply by 60. Now close all the windows. And now duplicate this layer by pressing Ctrl D. Go to emitter and change particles per second to 3000. Also change velocity to 12. And I would say decrease emitter size XYZ to 10. Close emitter. Now go to particles. Change life per second to 4. Life random percentage to 50. Also change size random percentage to 20. Close it. Now go to median layer and change radius to 5. Now add a adjustment layer above the glass layer. Rename it to RSMB. Go to effects panel and add RSMB PRO Effect to this layer. You can download this effect from the description down below. It is used to have a blurry effect in the animation. It is not mandatory to use this effect. Now select particles 3 layer and duplicate it by pressing Ctrl D. Move the layer particles 4 above the curves effect. Go to emitter. Change particles per second to 1000. Change velocity to 30. Now go to particles. Change life per second to 3. Also change size to 1. Duplicate this layer one more time by pressing Ctrl D. Move the timeline a bit forward. Let's check how it looks. It looked great. Perfect. Now create a new composition. Rename it to main 1. Go to project window. Add particles 1 composition to the timeline. And change its mode from normal to lighten. Do it same for particles 2 composition. Move it above the particle 1 layer. change its mode to lighten. Let's see how it looks. Perfect. Look at the water layer. I would say particles, not water layer. Now create a new composition, rename it to final. Add main one composition to the timeline. Go to effects panel and add curves effect to this layer. Change its RGB channel a bit. Move it slightly down. That would be great. Go to the timeline and add an adjustment layer to the timeline. Rename it to RSMB. Go to effects panel and add RSMB PRO Effect to this layer. Now, also change the blur amount to 1. Go to project window and add main one comp to the timeline again. Change its mode from normal to add. Now go to effects and presets and add fast box blur effect to this layer. Change blur radius to 17. Change iterations to 1. Now add curves effect to this layer. Change its RGB channel, move it little bit up and down. That's it. Duplicate this layer by pressing Ctrl D. Now change the blur radius to 70. Go to timeline, right click, new, and add a solid layer. Rename it to optical flares. Go to effects and presets and add optical flares effect to this layer. Change the mode of this layer from normal to exclusion. Click options. Go to preset browser and go to natural flares. Select blue steel flare. Click OK. Now change the position XY to 640 by -62. Also change the brightness to 50 or 70 would be perfect. Let's change it to 70. That's perfect. Yeah. Now add an adjustment layer to the timeline. Rename it to CC. Go to effects and presets and add curves effect to this layer. Let's change all the color channels starting with RGB. Move it little bit up and little bit down. Now red channel, move it little bit up, matching RGB. Now green, move it little bit up, that's it. And blue in the end, move it from left a bit up. Perfect. You can do it as per your need. Now add hue saturation effect to this layer. Change master hue to -10 and change master saturation to -21. Let's play the animation once. That is folks for today. I hope you like my video of water animation tutorial. If you liked the video, please click the like button. If you are new to this channel, please subscribe to it. Thank you and have a nice day.